Did you guys, you call me also, I'm completely out of my mind if I think that Andrew can beat Dorian in that pose.
So here's the thing, Milos. I think that Andrew Jack has a great front lat spread.
Yeah.
That said, I think there's a lot of people that got great lat spreads, but from what I recall, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you said that you thought his might be the best front lat spread of all time.
I see you going back and forth with muscle discord.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
Why you guys feed into all this so much?
Well, I've actually sworn it off. I actually won't actually even name him anymore again, and I put my feelings out there. Um, he's not worthy.
First, let me say, welcome, Bob, Mr. Chicarillo, back on
Good to be back, boys. Good to be back.
Old school roundtable. I mean, I wanted to have you and Sean on together because I thought that would have been, that way,
Sure.
you wouldn't feel like anybody's trying to attack you or something. But then again, I say Bob is his own man. He's strong enough. He can take it.
Yes.
Don't worry about me, bro. Everything's good.
Yeah. And Sean had to excuse himself. He'll be on next week. So he will take the leftover, whatever's left.
By next week, there'll be nothing to talk about. So
Right.
Listen, Bob, I enjoy your podcast with Sean. I really do. And I consider that you two are really historians and super knowledgeable. I usually agree with everything that you guys saying. I do. I'm not kissing ass. I just really appreciate your views on bodybuilding. Now, you both guys said like I'm making a crazy claims, not just like one that you point out about Andrew Jack having a best front lat spread time,
yeah.
but like I'm making a crazy claims constantly. So I said, like, okay, I'm gonna make myself available, and let's see whichever crazy claim maybe I can defend it. You would agree that we all are entitled for our opinions, right?
Of course. Sure.
And many times you don't agree with the judges' views and scoring and all that stuff, right?
All of us.
All of
You're
it.
right.
And I've been, watching, and I would never accept what judges are serving, and what they were serving. I guess I'm gonna go straight into the front lat spread. Did you guys? You call me also. I'm completely out of my mind if I think that Andrew can beat Dorian in that pose.
So here's the thing, Milos. I think that Andrew Jack has a great front lat spread. That said, I think there's a lot of people that got great lat spreads, but from what I recall, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you said that you thought his might be the best front lat spread of all time. And of that, I got to be honest. I mean, as much as I love Andrew, because I actually had him winning the Olympia this year, I don't think it's one of the greatest lat spreads of all time. I threw a couple pictures of my lat spread up there. I'm nowhere near this guy or anything. And you can make a case for a lot of people in a front lat spread.
Yes, I can make a case on my lat spread. My lat spread was phenomenal.
It's a great lat spread. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But again, so I'm gonna ask you specifically little by little. I'm not gonna say that you're wrong, but when I hear this, like I'm out of my mind. I'm like, talking crazy shit. This is why I wanna, slowly go one by one. Uh, do you think that Dorian has a better body than Andrew?
No, I've never been a Dorian fan. I respect Dorian. I liked his physique the first three Olympias. After that, I got somebody else winning the other three. But I'd say that with all due respect, because I do like Dorian very much. I was
Yeah.
never a fan of his physique, though. No.
Well, neither was I. I mean, you can give him the titles and all that stuff. Judges saw that, but I didn't see it that way because when you
I
read,
neither.
analyze, and then body pose for pose, it looks good. But then you analyze body parts. Andrew has better shoulders, better chest, better biceps, better triceps. Better abs. Even quads would be super competitive because Dorian didn't have it. And then in that one particular pose, he's super wide, super V-tapered with the edged the abs,
It's a
intercostal,
great,
right?
it's a great pose. Yeah.
Yeah, intercostals, right? Chest striated up and down like in the circles. Delts full, biceps, brachialis, triceps, I mean, shit is happening. Quadriceps is feathered, even in a standing position, which not too many people have it. So when I analyzed before, of course, Dorian has a great, Big Ramy has a great, there's so many, Dennis Wolf, who else? Lee
Lee
Hain,
Haney.
obviously. But then, when I analyzed pose for pose and then muscle by muscle, and then I realized, is Andrew Jack by any means small guy? Sean Ray could have possibly beat Dorian 94, 96, right?
Yep.
Sean is 205, 210 pounds. So if he had enough in him to possibly beat Dorian, how cannot Andrew Jack have enough, especially in this pose, frontal pose, when he's wide as a door? Uh, Dennis is playing a hide and seek. Uh, Shoulders like this. I'm serious. When I didn't think of that right away, I said Andrew Jack was winning those poses for the last 3 years. Anyway, but I didn't consider him best of all time. And then when I've seen this in Romania and I started analyzing, I say, wait a second. So I know that this is bold statement and that people are going to jump at me, and you did also, and
Oh,
Sean.
sure. Fun.
But analyze. I promise you, if you analyze deeply, he is way more aesthetic, way more shapely, proportions you can't even talk about. First thing you see in a physique, and you would agree with this, is a stomach, small waist, flat abs. That's
Absolutely.
we judged Nick Walker for losing the abs and small waist and stuff like that. Dorian lost his stomach many times. You can go on the internet and find so many videos, and you can screenshot it. It's like, oh my God. Okay, with Andrew, you don't have that. It's always small, always flat, always deep, intercostal, and then fibers everywhere. So this is why I made that statement. Now, if this is
So
a crazy statement, so be
no,
it.
listen, it's listen, half the statements we all make are crazy. That's why we have fun with each other. But
Yeah.
the question is, I think he's got a beautiful pose. Again, a big Andrew fan. I had him actually winning the Olympia. Personally, I think he's the guy to beat, and the front lat spread's great. The question is it the best of all time? Now, I put this in the same category as I put out a thing a few weeks ago about the who was it? Krizo. Actually, did the victory pose, and it shouldn't have been doing a victory pose. It's just not his body style. But so I put up a thing saying who's got and then people would put there's no question on anybody's mind who's any type of an expert in bodybuilding that the only guy to hit a victory pose that's the greatest of all time is Sergio. No question. Lee Priest, nice pose. Again, not quite there. All due respect, Steve Reeves, who actually did a very similar victory pose back in the day, that was his hallmark. I mean, that's really what it was all about. But that is kind of a given, universal, 100%. Nobody that knows anything about bodybuilding doesn't have Sergio with the best victory pose of all time. So my question is to Dennis and Chris, does Andrew Jack have the best lat spread of all time? And if not, who does?
I just now chimed back in. I don't know what the conversation was the last 10 minutes. So,
But he
so
actually,
but
Here, I'll give
just
you
the
a quick
question,
note.
just
So,
to answer your question, no, Andrew Jack does not have, in my opinion, not the best lat spread of all times. And if I was the one that pointed out Dorian Yates, so I think that Dorian Yates is one of the best lat spreads of all time.
sure. Chris?
I like Lee Haney's front lat
Yeah,
spread
that's a good one.
because I like the mass in his chest. He had the balance of his body and everything. I don't think you can go with body parts, or you're gonna have to resort back to when we did the Olympia and we had that body part show, body part competition. It's not like really a body part competition, but when you put together from top to bottom, from head to toe, that pose, I think that's what brings the pose to life the most.
yeah, but okay. You see, and they didn't agree with me even in the original podcast. So, Bob, both of them says that he cannot beat Dorian. Then I was explaining all these little details, right? So pose is a pose is the first layer of okay, what's in front of you. Then second layer of analysis is okay, let's now dig deeply. And then when I dig deeply, that's why I said Andrew has a bigger shoulders, better shoulders, striated, better biceps, better
No
triceps,
question.
Okay, better chest, way better. Most important muscle there is, it's midsection, way better. Okay, and quads are even more separated and fatter that Dorian ever had. So when I compare them directly, just like we talked about before, maybe you
Sure.
don't agree with judges who wins the show. Who wins this pose? For me, it's not even.
He's definitely up for consideration. There's no question about it. Is it the best of all time, given all things to consider? I don't think so. I think
Well,
he's
the main
competitive.
thing why this even blew up
Hmm?
is not because Milos's opinion was that his lat spread is better. Milos's opinion was that his lat spread is the best of all time. No one was even close.
That's correct.
That's the only thing that I was like, wait a
Not
minute.
even close.
Hey,
Did I say
here's
that?
speaking of
Yeah, you said
Sergio, we
that.
talk about the victory
Okay,
pose.
well,
I got to put Sergio in for one of the best lat spreads of all time. Who's beating this guy?
Sergio Senior.
Oh yeah, of course. So yeah, Sergio Senior's lat spread, especially at his peak. Good luck finding anybody to beat that.
Yeah, but listen, Bob. Okay, so we are sentimentally connected with that area, but Sergio never achieved the conditioning at the level that can be compared to the
Bro,
80.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. That pose, listen, the victory, you're talking 1960s here. All things considered, again, I'll take that lat spread over anybody's.
Yeah, but
Good.
don't you think that all things considered that because Dorian gets in that granite condition, they consider conditioning as a part of, okay, this is why he wins the contest, wins this pose.
It was only two people in my lifetime, bro. I went like, holy shit. And that was
Ronnie?
Lee Haney. That was Lee Haney. And that was Dorian Yates. Ronnie didn't have a good front lat spread. He got a good rear lat spread, not a good front to me. I thought his rear lat spread and rear back double bicep was undeniably like just out of this
Okay,
world.
so you said a holy shit. But when I ask you who has a better physique, Dorian, Flex, Kevin, Sean, Chris, what did you say? And what would you
Well, I
say?
mean, you said best body. I mean, what I consider best body, most like aesthetic, most the shape along with the cuts and the everything else.
So best body.
But as far as
I mean,
like
it's called body
floating all over the tape, all over the stage,
body building, best body. Okay. So this is why I say it's ignorant to just say bigger is better. And when we start bodybuilding, we all want to have this shapely aesthetic physiques, not just I've seen that
yeah.
interview of Dorian when he said, I just wanted to freak everybody down that people are going to say, what the fuck is that? I mean, is this message for the bodybuilders? What the fuck is that? You know?
He should.
No, but I'm serious. That's why I
Hey,
said
he
fans,
had his way with the judges, that's for sure. They went.
just because he has the way of the judge with the judges, do we have to agree with what judges were seeing for many years?
Hey, no, I don't. I know I don't.
So, but I'm speaking loudly. It's not like I'm picking. He was magnificent. I was
Oh,
not even close to I mean, he really can, like you said, he impressed you. When you saw him 93 years, like Jesus Christ, how you beat
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But because you were just
Yep.
shocked with that appearance, up until 93, we didn't have a mass monsters. We had normal people up until 93 when he showed up.
In
And
92, he went super ripped and it was smaller, but super ripped.
yeah, but
Then
you
he
know what I mean?
went, and then that
One,
transformation from 92 to 93, it was just shocking.
one question, because we've been beating this horse for the last three podcasts. Dorian retired almost 30 years ago. Why didn't nobody say something when he was winning?
I think that many
The only
people.
one I heard, and I only know this from magazines, the only one I heard complaining
John,
was Sean Ray.
You
And
know,
now,
then
30 years
people
later,
say,
we're gonna beat Dorian for
Well,
not
no,
having.
let's hang on. You gotta compartmentalize Dorian's career into two phases. The first three Olympia victories, I got no problem with that. This guy, like Chris said, this guy was a freak amongst freaks. His combination of size, muscle density, that graininess, the first time we'd ever heard
yeah,
that word that came out with a bodybuilder. Nobody was touching this guy. His back was just unreal. And again, just that thick, just gnarly muscle. Now, that said, like talking about Elvis Presley. You got the early years with the hip swiveling and the hair and the whole thing. And then you got the last, years where he was the big fat, drug addict and sweating profusely on stage. Dorian, the last 3 victories is not the same Dorian. And Dennis, there was plenty of talk back at that day because his waistline had ballooned up. All of a sudden he's kind of got the belly kind of working there. Now he's got torn muscle groups, the bicep in particular. It wasn't the best Dorian of those first 3 years. Highly arguable. I think a lot of people think Sean, Kevin, and Nasser probably should have beaten him on those 3. I got Dorian with a solid first 3. The other 3, I got 3 other guys winning, but that's where that whole discrepancy came in because that's when the belly started to expand also, boys, if we remember.
There was no social media. That's why there wasn't,
No.
I didn't hear the talk because I was still in Thailand at that time, and I didn't see, because I only see what I read in magazines back then, and you didn't really see anything other than Sean Ray complaining about it.
Of course not. Yeah.
But when they did the poses, the judges normally pose and what they're seeing in the pose. It wasn't like, okay, we know he has a torn bicep. Is it that much of a difference, this much part of his body when mostly everything else was still there? Like, there's so many different ways to look at it.
But now we are criticizing Derek for not having no biceps, right? And Dorian didn't have a great times to begin with, and then he had a one torn. Okay, and then he didn't have a small waist. He was not V-tapered. He didn't have a flat stomach. And this is all somehow overlooked. That's why I'm saying, with all due respect, I mean, he achieved like unbelievable. He dominated the hardest era. But like you said, Bob, I would agree with 92, 93. 94 is questionable. 95, he was crazy. 96, 7, again, question. 95, I think that was his best condition ever.
No, you absolutely you guys have a point with that, and that's not even the question. The question was just, all this just got started because with this one front lat spread pose.
Yeah.
Nobody, I wasn't here advertising Dorian having the best physique on the planet all the time. That's not even what I was thinking about.
Give me some relevant topics, the DJ. There's so much weird stuff going on these days.
I have one regarding you because I see you going back and forth with Muscle Discord.
Oh,
why you guys feed into all this so much?
Well, I've actually sworn it off. I actually won't even name him anymore again, and I put my feelings out there. He's not worthy. I mean, and listen, we all have given these guys opportunities. Chris was on her. Listen, I was on this idiot show just less than 2 years ago and gave him an opportunity to prove himself. And all he proved was that he had no knowledge about bodybuilding, doesn't have an eye for bodybuilding, and the rest of it's just all nonsense. So they have gone the road of Nick Trigili, who I got to actually give credit to, and I'll tell you why, okay? Everybody knows that Nick Trigili came out some years ago, and he was pretty much doing exactly what you're seeing now with these other folks, okay? All negative, all conspiracies, all this other garbage talk, all right? He wanted to be the TMZ of the bodybuilding world. Well, that didn't work out, backfired, ends up getting booted off, basically cost him every dime that he had invested into that. And he's actually kind of come back recently, and as you guys probably have seen, now he's kind of turned the page, and he spends most of the time, from what I can see, because I don't really watch his stuff, talking about peptides and different drug protocols and different things. Fine, listen, I have no issue with that. But if you notice, he doesn't really talk about competitive bodybuilding anymore, all the conspiracy theories he's gone. So he's kind of reinvented himself with that type of stuff. This is exactly where some of these other places are going now because they don't have a pedigree. The 3 of us can sit here right now and talk bodybuilding for 5 hours if we chose to, about the old days and bodybuilding and Chris's career and Milos's career and why Milos didn't win more posing rounds and all that kind of stuff, right? And it's all in good fun, but we all have a background, a pedigree. We were all pros, part of the IFBB Pro League, part of a lot of the behind the stuff. We've hosted shows. DJ, we've done the commentary, Chris, right? Milos has been involved in every aspect. That's the difference because a subject came up this week of what constitutes an expert in this field. And I said, one of 2 things. 1, experience. And 2, what's your track record? we've all got great experience in calling the shots, calling placings, winners, losers, top fives. We've been doing it for years. That's what makes an expert. You don't have to be a pro to be an expert, but you do have to be right more than you're wrong, and you need some background in order to really talk any shop when it comes into the world of professional bodybuilding.
You have to be right more than wrong. But you see, this is where it comes. Expert opinion is expert opinion, and that's why I do say I appreciate you, Bob. You speak the truth and what you see, and usually is very much aligned. Sean too.
Yep.
I just told when I was telling Dennis, you two, somebody sent me a video that you two accused me of, I'm talking crazy shit, not just that one thing, but a bunch of crazy stuff. So I just want to make myself available. And probably if you question me, then you see where I'm coming from. I hope you see where I'm coming from as far as Andrew, you know? So it's not just like make a statement, I didn't think about it. I thought thoroughly before I said that. And I know because it's such a huge thing, I'm a Lee Haney fan. Listen, I don't know which was the first Olympia that you saw, Bob, but Chris and I went to 88 Olympia in LA.
Yeah.
And the moment Lee Haney turned and spread the lats, the show was over. Right.
Over. Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
this is magnificent of and what was he? Do you remember 245 maybe?
Yeah, he was in a 248, I think, was his top, and which was crazy at the time. Remember, that was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, the guy's like 200, almost 250 pounds.
Yeah,
That
they
was
had the
huge back
they
then.
had the weigh-ins right there in front of everyone with the
Yeah,
Everlast
with the robes.
robes
Yeah,
on.
that's right.
So he was like 242 at the prejudging, and then or when they checked in, but who knows how if he came up a little bit after that. But
I think 91 he was 253 or something like that he said.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't want to get derailed on here from DJ's question, but in my opinion, D, that's the difference between real professionals and real experts that are in the field, such as you're seeing right here on this show, as opposed to the peanut gallery that's out there that really just throws out nothing but garbage. Every week is just complete and utter horseshit. And it's just, these are people, again, they don't have anything to call on. They don't have any experience. They weren't pros in that respect. They weren't around back in the day. So this is what they come up with. Again, it's that TMZ style reporting and trying to get clicks. And I've sworn it off. Like I said, I won't even bother anymore because the guy is so unworthy. All of them. I shouldn't say just him because everybody that's on there really is unworthy of even responding to at this point with the nonsense that comes out. A couple of weeks ago, it was Tyler Mannion and who he's dating, like anybody gives two shits. Now it's this other stuff with the PMMA and all this kind of garbage. Again, in a sport that literally is that, like, this is a big smoking gun. Like holy shit, he pulled the curtain back. Are you telling me that there's pro bodybuilding athletes who do things to enhance their physiques? Holy shit, this is huge.
It's going to be, he claimed national news.
Oh, call the Washington Post again. Yeah. Listen, I almost forgot. How about Jim Raquel? How about Jim Raquel of all people, a guy that's got no shit in business, talking any smack about anything? This is the same guy who put his girlfriend in and got her a pro card. Then he was, chatting it up with the judge, trying to get her into the top five when she was absolutely horrible. But, and then he can't remember any single instance. He says, I went backstage and Big Steve was ripping up score sheets. Hey, here's a clue, DJ. You've emceed a lot of shows like I have. Here's a clue for everybody that's out there who saw that whole business unfold. Okay, every single pro show that's ever been had, we've ripped up score sheets. Okay, whether it's me on the podium, whether it's the head judge, or whether it's the scorekeeper in the back. And you know why we do that? Because there's a whole new set of score sheets that have to come out for the finals that they score. So what was the smoking gun? And then, again, he had no details of anything. Oh, he was ripping at scores. Well, you were the head judge, Rock. Why didn't you say something?
But
I mean, come on.
You used to
That's just
train in his
garbage.
gym, didn't you? Didn't you train at his gym?
Yeah, listen, I knew Rock from when I was 14 years old. I grew up with this guy. And again, just like we're talking about two different Elvises, two different Dorian careers. You got to speak about Rock like that Elvis thing. There's two different Jim Rockells. There was the Jim Rockell that I grew up with that was the pillar of scoring it as he saw it. It actually worked against me because there were shows I could have either won and turned pro 10 years earlier, but he was so jaded that he didn't want to look biased because I was from his gym and his boy that he would actually vote for the other guy, in the interest of not looking biased.
Bob, let me ask you something. So he was on the podcast, Rock?
Yes.
So what did he say?
He says his big smoking gun was this conspiracy that he walked backstage at a show. By the way, he couldn't remember the show, couldn't remember when it was, but he remembers this. And when he walked backstage after the prejudging, Big Steve was back there tearing up the score sheets. And it's like, well, okay.
He put himself there like he was a legit judge, and he judged it the way he saw it, and he never ever favored anybody.
Oh, well, listen, again, as we all know how that ended up. Like I said, this guy's the last guy that should be talking about, being a fair and impartial judge. He was for a good portion of his career. And then he turned the corner when he found himself a young girl that took him for every dime he had. And all of a sudden, he wasn't calling stuff the way he wanted to see it. He was pushing certain people and her in particular. And that story's well documented, but I don't even want to get caught up on that. My questions are simple, which, again, unfortunately, when people aren't really experts at what they do, they don't even know the right questions to ask. First of all, I'd ask is, what made you think he was tearing up score sheets? It could have been tearing up anything. Maybe it was the lunch menu he was tearing up. I don't know. But okay, so let's just say he was. The scores exist on a computer. The scores are on a computer. They're not just on sheets of paper. And routinely, again, at the end of every prejudging, when the scores are tabulated and new sheets are put out, they tear up the old ones because they're not going to be the same score sheets that get used at the night show. It's that simple.
But Bob, if he thought that there was something wrong going on, as he was the head judge, he would know that some scores have changed magically.
Right. Well, listen,
So
and again, DJ, I could rip this thing apart. If it was in the court of law, it would have been thrown out for lack of any substantial evidence. Okay, so let's just go with that. He's tore up these score sheets. So what? Like you didn't remember who was in the top 5? So when you got there at night, what happened? Like there was 5 different guys in the top 5? Like, so what happened? Did you ever say anything to Jim Mannion? Did you actually do anything? Did you say anything to Steve? This thing was so lame that I'm telling you, bro, you couldn't believe what you were listening to with Rockell on there, but just it all falls into that same thing. This is Washington Post and all these conspiracies from years. Listen, guys, you're not unearthing anything new. We've already been through this with Wayne DeMilia, with Lee Thompson, with everybody else that's come down the pike that's tried to take us down or start their own little federation or anything like that. So it's so old and it's just garbage reporting.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. I remember when Rockell was still judging, and I never asked the judge for any favors, because I didn't know that was even possible. The thing was, I had a guy in the show in the not North American. What was the show also in Pittsburgh? Masters,
yeah.
In the Masters, and my guy actually won his class, and he was in the overall, but he missed the pro card. And I remember talking to Jim after, I was like, "Hey man, God, my guy just barely missed the pro card." You know what he said to me? He said, "Why didn't you say something?"
Well, there you
go.
Time
I heard, yeah, that's what he said. "What do you mean?" I said, "You should have told me before."
Yeah, see, now that's now what year was that approximately?
He was starting still. That was still under Wayne DeMilia.
that was in the early 2000s.
I mean,
Right.
like I said, later in his career was when he goes south. Early in his career, like I say, he was actually, like I say, over the top the other way. I could have turned pro in '89. I took second to Johnny Morant, easily could have gone the other way. He didn't even vote for me. Like I said, here's my own guy out of my own gym. He was so straight and narrow that, like I said, he would literally go the other way because he did not want to look like he was biased or impartial because I was his boy training at his gym. So, but that was wrong back then.
And what about George Farrah? Wasn't he there too?
Yeah, George trained out of the same gym. We trained in the same gym.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bob, you lost to Johnny Morant in North Carolina,
I did.
89, right? That's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie Robinson won overall, right?
Eddie Robinson won the
Yeah,
overall.
overall, yeah. I was in that show. You know that?
Were you?
Yeah, yeah, because I came, I was competing in all the shows. I did in Atlanta, there was Coastal USA 89, which I won. And then
Oh.
I went to Steve Carr, a Las Vegas show, and I won overall. And he says, okay, here's it's national qualifier. We pay for your flight and I said, okay. So I showed up in Raleigh. No, seriously, you can find me there backstage until, I went for the first round, right? And when I'm walking off the stage, this guy pulls me and says, "Hey, man, what's your name?" So I said my fucked up name, right? I
Sure.
said, "Is this, are you American?"
Well, since we're at that point, I'd like to say you too can unlock your full potential with the cutting edge lineup from high tech pharmaceuticals. All you have to do is just follow them on IG and Facebook. Visit High Tech Pharma for a deep dive into their science backed formulas that will power your performance, strength, and also bring you some of the best results.
Fuel your grind with the science of results. High-tech pharmaceuticals brings power, performance, and precision to every product. Elevate your fitness. Visit hightechpharma.com today. Backed by science. Built for strength.
No, are you American citizen? I said no. I said, what are you doing? This is fucking
No,
national.
but your entry
Yeah.
fee was in American dollars. That was the deal.
Yeah, I mean, I paid because it was paid for, and I showed up. I said, like, let me see how this goes. Yeah, I was very much impressed with both you and Johnny. Of course, me being a aesthetic and symmetrical guy, I would probably give it to you. But Eddie Robinson was good that time, and I don't know how you would go with him in a mano a mano for overall. But listen, I gotta give you credit. How many years did you try? 16?
Oh, well, from my first national show was 87, the nationals that Sean won, Phil Hill won my class, the heavyweights. And there was no supers at the time. So 87 was my first national debut. And I ended up turning pro in 2000. So
Oh,
there you go. 13 years
What?
total.
But you also did what show? You went to the Olympia though, right?
Yeah.
What show was
2002
that?
when I qualified second to Marcus, which I'm still pissed about. I dispute that to this day. Sons of
That in New
bitches.
York?
By the way, so now, hey, now that we're on the subject, right? Night of the Champions, 2002. I showed up, nailed it dead on. For me, I was about as 100% as I was going to get. Who do you think? Raquel was the head judge. Who do you think he voted for?
oh,
That was Mark. I think that was Marcus's best though. His
Oh,
best.
listen, it's hard to. Obviously, we have a lot of fun with that. We go back and forth, but yeah, of course, I got to catch the guy at his all-time freaking best. You know what I mean? On that day, he was a complete freak.
That was
But
that was
oh,
freaky. That was like some Dorian Yates versus Sean Ray kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
if Milos was on that judging panel, I'd have won that goddamn show. I can tell you this
probably.
right now.
But is it no? So, Bob, because you are judging yourself. Why do you think we should emphasize more mass or symmetry, proportion,
Well,
aesthetics?
listen, I affectionately refer to me and Marcus as Beauty and the Beast, but that's exactly what it was. I was way prettier, and I had a way smaller waist. I was ripped. I was in shape. He had more muscle than I did. Certainly, he had more muscle than anybody on that stage. But you take your pick. Literally apples and oranges, and obviously they picked him, right? But I'm with you, Milos, and always have been. I think the beauty of bodybuilding is that shape, symmetry, and proportion should still be the first three things
Yeah.
that you're judged on. And if you can get past that, then it's wide open for interpretation. But if you don't have great symmetry, if you don't have good proportion, and if you don't have a good symmetry, that's the hallmark. It's literally the base of what we do or should be doing as a physique contest.
Who is bigger freak, Marcus or Dorian?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would, boy, that's a rough. I would say Marcus as pure freak. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, let's face it, man, that guy was something. I mean, now he wasn't even as aesthetically pleasing as Dorian, which is saying something because I don't think Dorian was aesthetically pleasing, but Marcus in his prime and his hate. That's why I kind of laugh and we all kind of do to a point at the guys today when they bring up the old days, and we're always bringing up the old days. We're stuck in the whatever, and and the physiques were better back then. It's like, guys, I don't think you understand. By the way, you know where Marcus, oddly enough, this is a good ironic placing. You know where Marcus ended up placing that year, in 2002 in the Olympia?
Mm.
Eighth. So that physique.
Hold on. No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Somebody can look it up, but if I'm not mistaken, he was eighth place.
I think I was eighth in 2002.
Well, then you bumped.
Did you beat Marcus?
Check it out.
Me and Marcus were beating each other back and forth. I mean, it was always. Hold on, let me check.
Yeah, check it out. But but the point being is like that freak, right? That now, granted, he was better at the NOC than he was at the Olympic, but not by much. But that physique back then, that's about where you were. He's fighting, to try to get in the top 5. It's not even comparable when people bring up the old days versus the new days. It's kind of comical actually to me. And yeah, we're all older now and we can wax about the old days, but let's face it, it really, we can call it the way we see it. It's just not comparable.
Yeah, I was just with Jay today, and I talk about 2009 Olympia, right? And because I found some pictures and I posted for all the fans to see it, and I look at the Dexter and I said, God damn, Dexter looked better 2009 and 2008.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Yeah,
That's when Jay won.
Yeah, but if you look at Dexter 2008 and 9, he improved, and
you're right.
He was Mr. Olympia.
Well, because the difference was Jay, obviously, Jay was so off in 08 that he opened the door, and then he came back much better in 09. But if Jay was on in 08, Dexter never wins that show.
Yeah. Did you find it, Dennis?
You find that?
Yeah. Now I'm curious. Yeah.
8.
Of course, this stems back to the whole Nick Walker feud from this past year when I called that he would be 8th, and he honestly should have been 8th. They gave him 6, but
down. You got to
just
double
saying.
down on it.
I mean,
just
that
saying,
was
Chris.
that was a bold prediction you did say, right?
But I was on the money.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis actually thought that Nick can win.
Before.
Not so much. Yeah, not so much. But listen, 8th I thought would have been gratuitous because you could make a case for 9th and 10th. Those guys were.
Yeah.
So
and
muscle memory.
muscle memory is your friend, bro. By the way, I don't know who runs that or used to run it, but that they've fallen off over the last couple of years. That thing used to be right up to date, and it's a treasure trove of placings and things. And I use it all the time, but yeah, the last 3 probably, I don't know if somebody just doesn't do it anymore, or maybe somebody passed away. They used to. I really don't know.
Big, or what are you talking about? Get big?
No, muscle memory.
Yeah, I got 8. I was listening.
Where was Marcus?
Marcus was.
Because
I guess he didn't qualify.
what, in 2002? No.
Yeah, I guess he didn't qualify because it was Dexter, he won, Jay Cutler, Phil Heath, Dennis Wolf, Tony Freeman, Melvin Anthony, Silvio Samuel, Dennis James,
Who won?
Pasavi, Gustavo Basdell, Darren Charles.
Bro, what year are you looking at?
Oh, this is 208.
I was going to say that.
202.
What planet are you on? Give me 02.
02.
I was going to say those guys weren't even around
He
yet.
said 208.
Yeah. Hang on.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Hey, do you think Kevin could beat Ronnie at that show?
Ronnie was so hard to beat. I mean, honestly, his level of
Yeah,
muscularity and even off, I mean, he was a beast. I mean, just not that Kevin wasn't, because Kevin on the money was.
But
I
you
could
gotta
have given Kevin a one of those Olympias against Dorian. Absolutely.
But this generation thinks that it was a tale of 2 Ronnies also. Is the early Ronnie was beatable. We all beat him.
Yeah,
Oh, well, I mean,
but he was
prior to him
drug-free.
winning an Olympia. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's Also, even if they were off and on, judges was going to put you first. You're Mr. Olympia. You're not. It's pretty much you're not going to lose, even in the shows in
Right.
Europe and stuff like that.
You're right. Broncos got eighth in
Ah,
2002.
He's
I
Historian.
may not always be right, but I ain't never wrong.
Did you compete?
And what'd you place?
Me? Oh yeah, I got buried though. I was down in 17th.
I got $10,000.
Yeah, I got Jack. I got nothing. But
Place.
I got great experience. That's what I got.
Was
Honestly,
it
I
the fir-
thought I
was it
thought
your
I should have
first one?
placed much. There was a lot of bullshit going on around that time, politically, and don't forget, I tried starting a union just before that. That probably didn't help my cause, So there was a lot of reasons that probably could have been at issue.
Oh, you think you didn't place because of that?
Oh, listen. Should I have been in the top 5? No. Could I have been up there? Rubbing elbows with you or one? Those. Every guy I beat at the NOC. I know they're different shows. Beat me there. I mean, it was
But
complete
it's like
bullshit.
it's like you said, they're different shows. Different shows.
They are different shows, but
outcomes.
honestly, I thought I was probably in as good a shape at the Olympia as I won at the NOC. And like I say, guys, I had literally just beaten 2, 3 times at the Southwest Texas, at the NOC, at the year before that. All were ahead of me. But, was there some stuff going on? I don't know. Possibly.
Did you compete throughout those years every year, or did you skip a couple of years?
Which you talk about the
Trying to get
90s?
your card in the 90s, yeah.
Pretty much every year. The only year, I think 98, I didn't. I was actually getting ready for the 98, the USA, and then I blew out my back where I had to get surgery and fusion in L4 and L5. So, but then I came back in 99. But yeah, the dark years were.
In 98, you would have went home with a loss, bro.
Yes, I see that.
You would have went home with a loss.
No question about it, bro. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I was wrong. The funny part is people think like I wasn't, because I wasn't placing for shit. I'm 10th, I'm 12th, I'm 15th, I'm making, the funny thing is I was better off when I was young and stupid, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I'd come in on the money every time. But because I wasn't winning, I started changing stuff, because I'm like, well, I'm not winning. So after 92, I think it was, or so, then things just started to go downhill for, coming in on the money. I was experimenting with different things. I had different coaches, so to say, or people trying to help at that point. And like I say, the more research I did, the smarter I got with everything, the worse I looked.
What was the heaviest you've been on the stage?
250.
Oh.
But it wasn't pretty. Actually, it was the Ironman, the one year I worked with Chad, and his protocol just didn't work with me. I was a big water balloon. I was big and I was round, but I had one line on me, and that was the crack of my ass.
Yeah, it was deep.
Usually in the 240s was usually in my wheelhouse.
So let's switch over to the Arnold Classic coming up. Do we have an idea who's going to be in the show? Do we know exactly who's not in? Bob, did you hear anything?
Derek? So Derek recently said he wasn't. Now, I asked him point blank at the Sunday seminar after the Olympia about the Arnold, and he said no, that he wasn't going to do it. Then Tarek came out with a thing that said he was going to do it, and I'm like, well, I don't know about that. I haven't heard it from him. And then recently he actually said, no, I'm not doing the Arnold. Smart move. To me, because I think that would be a mistake, and I think he'd run into that same cycle like Samson did last year, which I firmly believe may have cost him the title. And now it's one of those things like, again, we all have the same kind of experience. You've all heard Jay, you've all heard Ronnie, all those guys that did, they all said the same thing. Toughest thing I ever did, probably wouldn't do it again or recommend it. Almost cost me the title or that type of thing. Samson, I don't believe is doing it. He's 350 pounds, which I think is a mistake. Also, we can get into that in a little bit. Hadi Chupan, if I was coaching him, he'd be in it. Andrew Jack, absolutely, he'd be the front runner. And if I'm Martin Fitzwater, I got to be throwing my hat in there. So those, and I hear Nick Walker is also considering that. I think that's a mistake as well.
Why? But don't you think he needs to redeem himself and show up?
I don't think Nick's got the kind of physique or the longevity to go from the Arnold all the way to the Olympia. I think he'd be better off hitting like the last qualifying show of the year, and just so he's only got to prep for basically one round. Let's just say it was 2 weeks ahead of the Olympia, and he can boom go in one and then go in the other. But
2 weeks.
that's why I think that'd be a mistake.
But Bob, there's no qualification for the Olympia 2 weeks ahead. Everything.
To be a
I'm just saying, 2-3 weeks, whatever the
wise, I think, yeah.
whatever the last qualifier or two, whenever that comes into play, it's a month out, whatever. To me, squeezing that in a 4-week span is a lot smarter to me for his physique.
Look back at
qualify.
Bob. Look back at Nick Walker in 2021 when he won the Arnold.
Much better.
22
Where
or
would that Walker be? Where would that Nick Walker place at the Olympia last? I mean, the last.
If the 2021 Nick Walker was in this year's Olympia, maybe he squeaks a 5th, but I still don't have many higher than that. While he was in better condition overall and his waist was a little smaller, I still don't like his proportions and his shape and his symmetry. I'm just not a fan. I mean, again, I always have to put the caveat here so I don't get blasted. Nothing against Nick. He's a nice kid. I like him. Like what he brings to the table. I'm just not a big fan of his physique.
So you're never picking him to win a show?
Well, depends on who's in the show, right? But I mean, can he win a show? Surely he's proven that. Now he hasn't beaten the best. He hasn't beaten the toughest lineups. I mean, if you look at his New York Pro wins, there's not a lot of competition there other than the one year where Martin actually should have beaten him. So
he's still on it.
Bob,
It was close.
Hey, Bob, you were nervous in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Listen, again,
shaking.
well, two things of interest of Pittsburgh. One, that's Derek versus Derek versus Nick. There is Jay versus Dexter. Derek comes in off. That's the only reason that Nick is that close. If Derek's on the money, it's over 1 and 2. Who really blows it was Martin, because if Martin had came in on, and to my opinion, he would have beaten both of them.
Yeah.
So you think Martin
Lost opportunity for Martin. I mean, that was remember he came in big, put on 10 pounds and all that, and all he was 10 pounds over where he really should have been. But if Martin was 100% or close to it at Pittsburgh, he beats both of them.
How about Prague show? How did you see it?
Prague was who now? Remind me.
It was Martin beat Samson.
Samson. Martin and Samson, right?
Yeah.
Hard to take it away from, again, I love Samson. Everybody knows I'm a big Samson fan. I have been for years since he was an amateur. And you can see this guy coming. The problem I got with Samson, and the reason I said earlier that I think going to 350 pounds is a huge mistake, is Samson has now lost a show because he wasn't big enough. Samson's problem in his Achilles heel has always been conditioning. We have seen him in shape, quote, and we're talking close to 100% once in his career. One time. And he still wasn't 100, but he was close enough to win the Olympia, and I think that was a great decision. He absolutely deserved it, no question in my mind. But, he has to get in that 95 percentile of conditioning to hang with Hottie and Derek and Jack and Martin and all these guys. I don't know if 350 is going to be able to come down to enough. I know he's got this in his head now, but we've all seen this, boys. It doesn't never have a good ending.
Well, you're talking to his former coach, so he might have an idea. What do you think, Milos?
Well, I mean, listen, ever since I was with Samson, he knew that, and because Bob, you said it at one of the shows after he won the Arnold Classic, if he just get in 5% better condition, that would be enough, right? And he was always thinking like, okay, I just need to, I'm never going to beat Hadi in the conditioning, but I just need to be close enough, and he's going to beat him with all the other attributes that he has. And well, it didn't happen. Then everybody was saying like, oh, don't be 300, be 280, just dig. And he went way too deep. So this time he was not big enough. At Olympia, actually, he was not big enough. But you said something that I didn't interfere. You said you would give to Andrew Jack Olympia victory. Did you? Did you say that in the beginning?
Absolutely. With the best lat spread of all time? Absolutely.
Okay, that's what is Andrew's best pose?
He's got a few good. I mean, all
Yeah,
his
yeah.
poses are good.
Those sugar, those food
His
out.
his his general posing needs to be better.
Yeah.
He's not the best poser out there. I think we would all agree he needs to kind of really work on that a little bit because especially his side poses. He doesn't. I hate to coin the phrase, but he hides away when he poses. He doesn't pose like a big man. That guy's like should be like Godzilla out there stomping on these little dwarfs out there. Like I want to see Andrew hit a big rib cage like that old style, bring that up like Arnold type of thing, and he'd just be blowing people away. But his best pose, certainly the lat spread's a good pose. I like his double by, and I like the cornerstones of the poses he's got down. Back lat spread and back double by, also great poses. The
Yeah.
side poses need a little work.
What is the best pose?
Oh, well, come on. We got to pick lat spread. I mean, come on, Milos.
Okay.
I mean,
So you would see him as a winner, and that's his best pose, but you don't agree that that's the best last spread of all time.
of all time, no. Listen, he's not competing against everybody else. I can't give you all time, Milos. I can't do it. I just can't.
But you should sometimes have a courage to say shit like this, right? I mean, we started with this.
Don't you think
88.
that if Bob would feel that way, he would say it?
I'm sorry?
Don't you think Bob would say it if he felt that this was
Yeah,
the
but
best?
he didn't think through and he didn't really analyze it. When
Oh, you
he
didn't.
Sure, I
he
did.
really analyzes and then he realized, hold on a second, shoulders, okay, chest, okay, biceps, brachialis, triceps, okay, abs, holy shit, intercostals, wait a second.
Milos, you're not going to sell us on this. You're just not going to do it. I know you're trying. I love you
No,
before, but
I never tried to convince you guys. I'm just telling you why my opinion is like that. And nobody needs to agree with me.
But him having that aesthetic body of his, I think we all would like to see that being a top physique in the men.
listen, I like I said, you can make a case for any of the top three. We all know that. Derek's obviously catching a little bit of heat. I do think it's a little unfair to Derek that everybody just points to double bicep. I mean, listen, no, his buys aren't the greatest, but you know what? It's not a one pose competition, everybody. So yeah, that's not the best pose. People are putting pictures of Andrea Shaw and anybody else that was walking around the auditorium of having better arms. But listen, he does have a lot of good attributes. I don't think that was his best. And personally, I didn't have him winning, but that doesn't mean with a consensus of the judging. You know what happened? I think they had Andrew Jack, but then they ripped up the score sheets after the prejudging, and nobody knew where anybody was placing after that.
What do you
It's amazing.
What was his best body part? You think? I mean, we got the back to a bicep
Who?
out of Derek.
Derek? Oh,
His
well,
best
yeah.
shot.
Derek from the back is very formidable. For his size and thickness, that back double by is killer. I mean, that's very hard to beat from the back. For Derek, yeah, definitely the back poses. I mean, for sure.
Derek was always good in front poses. I mean, because V tape that he creates with a vacuum that I don't like, but it is what it is. He improved the
Right.
side poses. He did improve the side poses big time. I still think the last two poses he loses to everybody, most muscular and ab shut. So two poses that he loses clearly, from everybody in the top 10.
Who I thought should have placed higher was Brandon Curry. I got to give Brandon credit. I thought he looked pretty damn good for, is he as good as he was when he won the Olympia? No, but you know what? He was very formidable. I thought this is probably the best he's looked in the last 2-3 years. And I don't know, I thought he would have got a little more love, than where he ended up.
I agree. I agree.
He could have been as high as fourth.
You know what? I would have had no problem with that. I mean, he was right there in that mix with those guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They didn't see something they liked, but that's why I didn't have, nothing against Nick again, but that's why I didn't have him as high as 6 because I had Brandon ahead of him. And who was the other one?
Tonio Burton looked good.
Yes, Tonio, I thought looked very good. I think Tonio's a little underrated, actually. I think he's better than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
He's not quite Dexter, but he's not far off either.
Yeah, coming into that area. I was watching the other day, like Tom Cruise getting an Oscar. I mean, there was probably an old one, but it's like, which movie did he get an Oscar for? And he didn't. He just get it as a honorary, lifetime achievement and all that stuff. And I was thinking, like, why don't Olympia give a few of those honorary Mr. Olympia Sandal trophies to few deserving guys, and we all know who they are. I'm serious.
Who would be the first one you would give it to?
Flex, Kevin, Sean. I don't know in which order. And then Chris would be right there. And I say this with I think Chris Cormier is probably one of the most underrated when you really dissect when
I felt like I was putting my body together like a prototypical bodybuilder would, but back then I had a lot of people saying that I wasn't that guy, or I wasn't big enough, or I wasn't whatever.
Your only problem, Chris, your only problem was the era that you competed in. You competed in the toughest era we've ever had all time. I mean, it's like the Mendenhall thing, right? People are like, how's this guy not turned pro? Well, he had the combination of bad luck and mistiming. I mean, it just any other era, this guy would have been out there, as a pro bodybuilder competing for the Olympia.
Okay, Baba, I want to ask you this because you have eyes. I'm not talking about particular years, but when I say the best Kevin, best Flex, best Sean, best Chris, who wins?
Flex Wheeler.
Flex?
Yeah, you can't. Let me tell you, Flex era, was it 93, I think, was that crazy year where he thinks it was, what was the year you guys competed, Milos, again?
Flex thinks 98.
Yeah, I think he thinks that was his best, but
No.
I think you can go either way.
The Arnold 98.
Flex thinks 99 British Grand Prix.
British Grand Prix.
Yeah, that's what Flex thinks.
Yeah,
He
that
told me one
Flex
time he
for.
thinks 98 was his best at the Arnold.
Yeah, that guy right there. I mean, that's almost perfection. I mean, it's very difficult to find somebody that was probably be more deserving, but. I don't know if he had it. I think it might have been, it's more of a mentality thing. It's kind of like the same thing, like when you talk about Kai Green versus Phil Heath. And you go, well, why is Kai always on at the Arnold and off at the Olympia? And honestly, I think Phil just had his number, just mentally. I think it was too big for him. I think the moment was too big for him. And I think the same with Flex. I think it was, like they say, sometimes people have a fear of success, where they'll actually like talk themselves out of, or I don't say sabotage themselves, but although, Flex was well documented in doing some of that, but I think the moment was too big for Kai and that type of thing, where I don't think he could envision himself as Mr. Olympia. I think Phil had his number, and Phil was never in the Arnold when Kai was in there kicking ass. So, but there you go. I find it too coincidental that I got to put some stock into it.
Hey, Chris, I got to ask you this. I mean, you did like so many European Grand Prix tours. Why didn't you do 99?
I don't remember if I didn't.
You didn't, of course, because you were third at Olympia, and then we went into the two shows, Italy and British Grand Prix, and you were not there.
I think I was in the club still. I don't know.
Chris was, hey,
I was celebrating.
I can answer that. Chris, I know exactly. Chris, I hate to blow you in, but I got to do it, bro.
I had
Chris was in Brazil getting PMMA put in. That's why when he came back in 99, he looked so much better. Okay, there it is.
No.
Done.
Chris got stuck in Vegas. He didn't make it to England.
Yeah, he did.
No, 99, where was I?
Yeah, I mean, you were brilliant at Olympia. You were third. You could have possibly taken Flex in that show. And listen, I did the interview for Muscle Fitness, and I was supposed to interview Chris Cormier, and we were talking about Olympia. And then he said, pose by pose, muscle by muscle. He gave Flex forearms. He beats him in every other.
Forearms.
Yeah.
Flex beat me with forearms.
Yeah, but seriously, you were at the 97 European Grand Prix, 98. I know because.
Dude, but I did so many of those, Milos. I was really tired, and if you're averaging 10 shows in a year on continuous basis, just tired, man. Yeah, you're just tired.
All right.
Some of those shows I was getting ready for, I didn't really want to do it, but when I was in a Weider organization, it was like if you're qualified, you're invited, then you need to go.
Unless you were Gunther, then you could just get special invites.
Yeah. Don't get me started.
So what do you think of special invites?
I think they need special circumstances. I think that's the whole point of a special invite. I've never been in one. I honestly wasn't in for it for Derek. I didn't think that was justified. We have a system where you qualify. I think we should adhere to that. Now, listen, if some legend comes back, if Chris Cormier wanted to come back, a la Kevin Levrone, and throw his hat in the ring, I got no issue with something like that. Or like Big Ramy, I thought was justified, or Cedric McMillan under those circumstances. Again, they have to be special circumstances to get a special invite. But like the Gunther stuff, I mean, that pissed me off because I'm competing back then, trying to qualify, and then this guy, well, he's doing appearances for Weider. He doesn't have time to compete. It's like,
egregious.
What? Come on.
It was just too many times in a row. That's what made everybody mad. I remember I went off on Gunther.
How many invites did he get?
Oh, 3 or 4.
At least 5, or at least 5.
Yeah, maybe Chris might be right.
He qualified once or twice.
Oh,
yeah, he did. And then he went probably
the GNC.
Yeah. And then he went 4 or 5 deep without ever stepping on a stage because he was out doing appearances at the Weider booths and stuff. But hey, here's a great topic that we haven't covered. So I saw 2 things. Number one, I saw Tarek put a list out of the top 5 giant killers of all time. The only guy he forgot to put in there was the guy they actually called the giant killer, Danny Padilla. So that said, Clarita actually put a thing out that says he wants to compete. Now that he's qualified in both, he wants to compete in both at the Olympia. And I'm here to tell you, first and foremost, that ain't going to happen.
Okay, but why?
I'll tell you why. Because we don't allow crossovers in the pros, and nor should we. 2, they're 2 different divisions. And as thus, pick one. Pick a division. But you don't get the... And I'll refer to you guys this. This is a good reason as to why, okay? Year 1, you guys will remember this. I don't remember the exact date. Milos, you probably would. Kevin English and David Henry take 1 and 2 in the 202 or 210, whatever it was back then. Were allowed to compete the next night at the Olympia and ended up placing last and dead last. And for that reason and that reason alone, I think proves my whole point in theory that they're different divisions. Let's not muddy the waters. And let's not take like the guy who just won the damn show. You're the best in the world, and now you're last place on the open stage the next day. There's a reason that there's different divisions.
All right. I mean, you make a strong point there, but then again, if you qualify, you should be able to compete. That's how I think. And in amateur shows, in NPC, you can do the classic and 212 and whatever in the same show. You like 35 minutes later, you're on the stage again, right? So
yeah. Here's the other problem with all that jazz. Let's just put it in the girls category, okay? And let's just say we're going to allow them to cross over. What do you do when the girl who wins women's physique also wins figure let's take the Olympia for now they're supposed to have different criteria, right? Now we've all seen local shows, and local's a little bit different, where one athlete can win 2 or 3 different divisions because they just happen to be the best. And there isn't anybody better that fits that criteria. But when you're at Olympia or pro level, it muddies the waters of why the divisions are different and why they should have different criteria. One athlete ends up winning 2 different divisions, let's just say 3. It's the same physique, and then all of a sudden it fits the criteria. It's like, well, but there was nobody better. And I think it muddies the waters too much, and it becomes a big gray area of that. I'm all for separation of church and state when it comes to this.
All right. I mean, they never allow it. I just think that
I wouldn't. I mean, the pro league can do what they wish, but personally, and if my opinion was in there, I've never been for cross. So remember Silvio Samuel, El Matador, in that first year they allowed we allowed crossovers because we didn't know where the 212 was going to go at that point. And he ended up winning both shows. I think it was the Houston Pro. He ended up winning the 212 and the Open.
Yeah. I don't know which I thought it was maybe it was not Houston. Maybe you're right. Okay, but he did win both. Yeah. And that's another point. Now, Flex Lewis was also specially invited, right? But then he never made it. And there was always like, oh, what, how he would do it. He did a couple of open shows and didn't
Yeah.
place,
He did okay. I mean, by the way, this dovetails into another thing because Sean, I know, and we argue about this all the time. And Lee Priest, our good friend, want to argue that we need to abolish the 212, that it serves no purpose. And I would submit to them that, first of all, there are two exceptions to the rules. Okay, that's number one. Not everybody has the ability. We just saw Keon, go get his butt handed to him in an open show, and he's the best guy in the world by far in the 212 right now. But that said, it's like, well, why don't you go ask Flex Lewis if this 212 division served him right, or Guy Cisternino, or Jose Raymond, or there are guys who literally have made careers out of that who normally wouldn't have done anything. Like, where's a guy like, listen, let's take Flex, all right, the winningest of all time, 7-time Olympia champ. If there was no 212 and he was just in the open, how much of a good career would he have had? Would he have ever won an open show? How would he have done in the Olympia? Would he be the Flex Lewis that we know today with contracts and success and people like a champion? But that's why you don't take the 212 out. And by the way, nobody prevents anybody from going into an open show. So why get rid of it anyways when anybody can go in the open show? But you don't see a mass exodus of 212 guys going into open shows. You see one guy or two, and that's fine. They got the genetics to do that, but it's not made for everybody. But I so disagree with the notion of getting rid of it when it has literally made careers for guys in that division competing with guys in their own weight category.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. You actually created that,
I did.
Yeah.
So that's also why I'm in favor of it.
It's your baby. Yeah. So I understand.
But
Yeah,
I created it
right,
for a reason, because there's such a discrepancy, especially nowadays with weight categories. You know what I mean? It's like, well, is it really fair? And it's like, well, this guy won or that guy won. It's like, well, that's two guys. There's hundreds of guys in the 212. I mean, they ain't going anywhere. Again, where would a guy Cisternino have ever been? Here's a guy who was decent, had a decent career, but ended up getting to the Olympia 6-7 times, ended up signing big contracts with supplement companies, made a name for himself, made some prize money, did some guest posting because he was a superstar, so to say, in his own category. That's a guy who would have turned pro, gone in the open, competed once, and you would have never seen him again.
Where would Sean Clarida place if he looks like he looked at Japan?
In the Open, Olympia?
Open, yeah.
Out of the top 10. I mean, not even a question.
I mean, we all love Sean, but that's about reality, right? So I see, yeah, from that standpoint, why would you compete?
Well, interestingly, I asked Sean because he likes to take he thinks that we should just get rid of it. It's useless. But I asked him, I says, well, hang on. I says, so I'm putting you in charge of Sean Clarida's camp, Sean. You're his new manager. He just qualified. He's obviously qualified for life in the 212, and he just qualified for the Open. So which one would you put him in? Because he's got to pick one. And he said the 212. I'm like, well, you're going against what you're even telling me. Then why would you stick him in the 212 when you're advocating that we shouldn't even have it? Why would you stick him in the Open? He's like, well, he wouldn't do anything in the Open. Come on.
That's the reality. But what do you think of Keon? You think that Keon can put a few pounds and be competitive?
No, and I'll tell you why. His midsection is going to be a problem. And it's already becoming a problem within his own division that I think it's something I don't know if that's something you can fix. But it's starting he can't put on another pound or two and maintain. He's got a small waist, but it's that, what do they call that where it splits there, Milos?
I don't know what's there's a term. It's lineal, but it's spreading, but I don't know.
I can't think. It's the same thing Phil Heath had in effect, but
yeah.
No, if he made the mistake of going to Open, and again, we just saw him in Open, he did reasonably okay. He did what, 4th, I think it was. Yeah. But the midsection, again, it's something. If I was him, I'd be looking to see if that's something they can fix. But it's going to be a problem going forwards.
Fix how?
Well, there's something in Brazil.
Brazil. Get that fix. Get some PMMA. What is PMMA, anyways, guys?
You can inject in each ab or what?
What is it? Does anybody have experience with
So
PMMA?
from what I understand, so
I don't have any
PMMA
experience.
is that shit that Rich Piano used.
But it's for
I know.
for fillers, right?
It's basically, from what I understand, it's like I said, it's like it's a filler, basically, is the best way. It's like a synthol, but a little bit different in its structure. So it just kind of fills an area. But this is why I think it's ludicrous to think some of the people that are using it because I'm seeing people with speaking of Natalia, she just put a video out the other day that's of recent where she's doing like some squats. You can see all kinds of fibers and stuff in her thighs. So it's like, well, that's not my experience with that stuff. That you're going to obscure definition using PMMA. Look at Rich Piana. He was, a big freak, but he didn't have a line on him. I mean, he was just a big balloon animal.
Yeah. I don't know why this just took off like this, and then when
Well,
I
it
saw
took off because Sarah put it out there as that wasn't probably the best reaction I've seen. There's something to be said for taking a loss with a grain or being professional about it. And I really didn't like that from Sarah. I like Sarah. I like Ali, her husband. They're friends of mine, but I didn't like that whole thing. It didn't look good.
I don't think it was about winning or losing. I think it was more like direction.
Well,
Like
you know,
if
I
you're
got to be honest. I had Natalia winning last year.
if I'm
Me
going to
too.
compete, and then
but I'm biased, to be honest.
yeah. Okay, here's the question. When Masada beat Shanique,
Shanique for me was a clear winner too.
okay? But Bob, what do you think?
I like Shanique. Her physique was
I mean, for me, there was not even
stellar.
a question.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
I was shocked to see that.
But listen, back then it was a weird time in the women's physique division. They were talking about she needed to try to make her legs look a little smaller. Shaniqua started doing like some type of pigeon toe type posing. I remember that.
I remember that, Chris. Her posing was horrendous. I will say. But secondly, her genetics are stellar. All right, obviously, I think we'd all agree. The problem with Shanique did exactly what Andrea Shaw did, not this year, but last year when she lost against Andrea Yo at the Rising Phoenix.
Right.
Clearly, she was superior. Clearly, she had a better physique, but she came in off. Kind of like the Don Youngblood versus Vince Taylor. Remember from back in the day, boys, right? Where it's like Vince was miles ahead of this guy, but he came in off enough that they had to give it to somebody else. And that's exactly what happened with Shanique. She opened the door. If Shanique was 100%, she'd have blown her away.
I still think that at that show there was no question, So I'm there, and I'm sitting next to Ali. I didn't know that was her husband, right?
But
And
she was 100%, and Shaniqua posing was off, condition was off.
Yeah.
The posing was off. The posing was off when she was winning.
Yeah, I mean, she was never a good poser.
Posing was no different.
That was a assumption. That was off. Like, go back and look and see.
I mean, John Meadows prepared her for that show. I think she was still clear winner. That was the Flex Wheeler of that category, with the stellar genetics. Just
amazing.
We've all seen people that can't pose a lick that have lost shows because they couldn't present their physique. But she was awkward when it came to you should have given her some tips, Milos. Little 3/4 back poses, and that chick wins all day long.
Yeah.
Bob, man, I appreciate you making the time. I know it's late on the East Coast. You're ready to go to bed. And like I said, I appreciate the time. We're going to have Sean Ray on next week. See what he has to say.
Just remember with Sean, keep it short.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Chris get at Sean next week for not texting him a number that he has since he was 17.
Listen, these guys. The funny part is we're all family, so we all go at it. We all have our time and our stuff and go at each other and all that. At the end of the day, my paycheck's still the same. So,
but I got to go and watch that video that Chris was talking about. I didn't see. Maybe I don't watch enough. I'm on vacation. I don't really watch stuff. So
which video?
The way Sean supposedly said that he must be on dope or whatever when he was talking.
It's not a video. It's a text.
Text. It's on beyond the.
Yeah, it's a post on Instagram.
Oh, it was a post on what
beyond the what is it called?
Was the BT Beyond the Stage or one of those?
Oh, okay.
So there's a thread going back and forth.
And the funny thing is Sean is funny because He's the one that said that Flex Wheeler had something suspicious going on with his calves a year ago. Sean Flex wanted to kill him.
Which came out to be true.
Flex wanted to kill him. Flex wanted to kill him.
He said, "Crispy smoking that crack."
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys,
Take it
man, I
easy now.
appreciate it.
Take it easy.
Milos, I know you're traveling tomorrow, right? You're on your way to
Wednesday.
on Wednesday. Okay. All right. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah. See, I'm coming your way. Actually, I'm going to go to Dr. Bob's longevity seminar thing, whatever he calls that thing, every year.
Where?
So I'll be out in similar to you. I'm coming out to Vegas and I'm shooting over to Phoenix for a day.
When?
This week. So Thursday to Sunday, I'll be at Bob's thing, and then I'm shooting over to meet up with Jake and his people.
I'll still be in Thailand until February, end of February.
So
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm chilling on the beach.
Otherwise, I would love to see you.
Hey, I'm posting seafood stuff every day for Chris because I know Chris.
And I'm watching.
Chris, I swear to God, every time I order something, I think about you. This seafood,
bro, anytime I hear that food, anytime I hear that food,
channel,
all I can think of is your wife's food. So
yeah. But let me tell you something, Chris. Two Terminator lobsters, okay? A big red snapper fish, 4 king prawns, 2 whole squids. Hold on, 2 whole squids. A plate of veggies. What else? There was something else. There was else. Squid, rock lobster, fish, king prawns. Guess how much?
25.
How much would there be in a seafood place?
That would be about
$300.
$200 at least.
Yeah, depending on where
I would
you're
say
at.
depending on where you go, I say 500 plus. Those two
Yeah.
lobsters alone. Listen, $40.
Yeah.
Hold on. $40.
$40.
I'm telling you. And that's and they double up on everything.
And where's that?
I'm in Koh Samui on an island. So it's actually expensive on the island.
You know what that means? That means that Dennis is moving back to Thailand.
Yeah, just for the food. So, all right,
it
boys.
grilled?
Is
it grilled?
Grilled. You can do grilled, fried, any way you like it. They give you options. Bro.
Let's go.
I swear to God. And they do it right in front of you.
Live. Minutes podcast coming live out of.
There you go.
All right, you guys be safe, man. I'll see you all next week.
All right, boys.
Good to see you, Bob.
We'll catch up.